What's going on, Buff Nation? Welcome back to another video. So the dust has settled. Jordan Seaton, #1 offensive tackle, has signed with the Colorado Buffs. And of course, the haters come out yesterday with he's going to leave in a year. It's just, look, it's been fun to watch all this unfold. I feel like I could do an entire show in a year from now. We'll call it the receipt show, where we pull up all these hater comments, all these hater raids, and discuss, the what could be or what should have been or what's going to happen. But all in all, great day for the Colorado Buffs. But I do want to talk about Coach Prime was on an interview with Stephen A. Smith, and he spoke about Jordan Seaton and what he's excited about and what he's going to be able to bring to the table. And we're going to break that down a little bit because how he speaks about them is very interesting, because how he speaks about other players, he's very open. He's always, that's always been Coach Prime. Like, he's always in your face. Here's what it is. Let's rock and roll. So I think it's very intriguing what he says. And then we're also going to talk about an encounter that happened during a visit. A couple of offensive linemen and recruits were there, and how they stepped up for Shedeur Sanders before even being committed. But here's what he had to say about Jordan Seaton and what he's going to bring to the Colorado Buffs.
Let me tell you something. The big fella, man, I call him Big Time. That's his new nickname. He's Big Time. That's Big Time. He knows how to articulate himself. He knows what he wants, but he's willing to work to go get it. And he challenges guys all day long. He would get on the phone and call another live. Hey, man, you coming or not? Because we ain't got time for that. What you gonna do? Are you, coach? He's just trying to get a bag. We don't want him. He ain't thinking about the game. He ain't thinking about how he fit in the scheme. He just want a bag. We don't want him. That's how he approaches things. This kid practices his butt off. That's what we've gleaned. But he's a man. He come from tough beginnings. His uncle is a rider. And got his back wholeheartedly, and he hadn't come up the soft way. This kid is a pro mentally and physically right now. He just has to put it on grass. I love everything about this kid and who he's gonna become. I promise you, this kid is gonna be a first rounder, if not the top 5 pick.
For those that may not know who you're talking about, the kid's name is Jordan Seaton.
Yeah.
#1 offensive tackle recruit. 6'5", 287 pounds.
But okay. Nasty. And nasty.
Right.
And nasty.
How many of those out there?
Trying to finish you off. Trying to make you a sprinkler head. He don't just want to put you in the grass. He's trying to make you a sprinkler head.
Trying to make you a sprinkler head. Big time Jordan Seaton. Now, a couple things that I want to break down here, just speaking about who Jordan Seaton is. Look, we had a video two days ago where we went live when he was live with Hayes Fawcett. It was a very interesting interview, like we spoke. Made a lot of us kind of question a few things, right? But all in all, now we're 48 hours later, watching how yesterday unfolded, watching Coach Prime talk about it, makes you believe that it was kind of just a big troll, playing this game and playing these recruiting sites, which is something that Coach Prime, that I have alluded to multiple times, has been, in a sense, not necessarily known. Nobody's really kind of saying it, but it appears to be that way, that I'm not going to play the game that everybody else plays. Because these guys are constantly swinging and missing. And when I mean by these guys, I mean these recruiting sites. When it comes to Coach Prime landing a big-time fish, nobody sees this coming. As much as it's in your face, they're constantly questioning it and constantly doubting it, and he continues to nail it on the head. So maybe the interview was, a little off the mark there. That happens sometimes. But what I like to hear is how he is talking about Jordan Seaton, right? We've seen how he's kind of interacted with Kermani McClain. We talked about it on the show. It's a different vibe, right? He loves Kermani. You can tell that he's invested in Kermani, but he also has kind of alluded to, like, hey, he's got to get some things figured out, right? He's got to get his mind right and more focused. He's also talked about Travis Hunter, right? And just how committed he is. We've heard about it. He goes, when he had that bad game and we had the bye week, everybody left. Everyone went and partied, had a good time. What did Travis do? It's like he stayed. He got better. He worked on all the things that he struggled on, right? It's a mindset. So hearing him talk about Jordan Seaton in that same light as a Travis Hunter, if you're a Buff, you got to be excited about what is coming to the football field next year, and hearing him talk about how he's just recruiting other players of, like, look, we're not here to go back and forth. Here's what's going to happen. Here's what we're trying to do. The ultimate goal here is to get you to a higher level of football, not just to get a quick bag, right? How are you going to fit? How are you going to be the best fit to this team? So again, has to excite you, especially for Coach Prime to speak that highly of somebody, even after kind of how everything unfolded, which makes me believe even more that, maybe we overlooked into that interview, which highly possible. That's what humans do, right? We overreact and then we reel it back in. So I think, again, Jordan Seaton going to be a big time input or a factor to next year. But take a look and listen to this interview. It's a little long. But I think it's a great little story. And the reason why I want us to watch it and talk about it is because a lot of criticism for Coach Prime in bringing a lot of transfer portal people in is the fact that they won't be able to work together. They won't have any chemistry, right? Which I've also said they've already addressed, in my opinion, because of how they're picking up players. They're scooping players from teams, right? Two here, two there. So people are coming in a package deals like Noah's Ark, right? 1-2, versus just individuals coming in, which is going to help in transitioning to that chemistry. But here's a fun story that just shows these guys and how bought in they are. Take a listen.
He said this to you: your son don't have anything to worry about next season. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking he said to you.
Yeah. He said, Coach, you don't have to worry about that no more. But guess what? Not only did he say that, every darn lineman that committed to us has said that. Let me tell you something that happened. The young men go to a local restaurant to convene with one another, to get to know one another. And, they all want to meet Shador. They all want to meet Travis and Jimmy and and Dylan and some of our key players offensively. It was this gentleman came in from within the crowd, came over and got smart with Shador and said things derogatory about me. Now, Shador he's a walk away. Shador ain't gonna do nothing. Shiloh would have sworn. Shiloh is different. He would have sworn. That's why God knew who to put in that situation. But before Shador could even readdress the gentleman, his lineman on a recruiting visit came over there and was about to handle business. They had to be stopped, and they hadn't even committed yet. So that lets you know where this thing is going. Then they went on to commit hours later. That's when we had a couple weeks ago when we signed like several linemen. But it's a whole different thought process, a whole different way of approaching your quarterback, approaching the game, and understanding what you have and feel. Our new offensive line coach, this brother played in the league for a multitude of years and played at a high level. In the communication process with he and those guys, oh my God.
So that's my point, right? Exactly what he says there, right? Again, the guys are bought into Coach Prime before, right? They're even signed with the team. They're bought into Shador Sanders. They're bought into the process. They're showing that there's a culture here by just hanging out. Probably they've been hanging out for a couple hours now. They're bought in. They understand this is a business. We're here to execute and get things done. And again, that just goes back to my point of everyone being concerned about guys being bought in. Now, come the football field, you're busting pads, you're busting uglies. Are things going to get a little wobbly? Absolutely. But ultimately, right now, the main goal is, our goal is to protect Shador Sanders so we can be successful on the field. And that's a mindset that you have to carry through without the entire process. Think about a great actor, right? You hear about the stories about great actors like Jim Carrey and Daniel Day-Lewis, where they stay in character throughout the entire filming of the movie. Right? On or off set, they become that person. And why that's so important is that they want the people around them to realize it's always going, it's always ticking. And so they don't have to switch on and off, and they're constantly just bought in. And I know this isn't a movie, right? It's real life. But if you're bought into I am constantly in the mode to protect this guy, then you don't have to turn a switch on come game day. You're already locked in. That it's a natural protection. It's like a mother and its cub. Right? It's just a natural thing to always be ready and focused in protecting the guy behind me. So I love it. I think it's a great story. Now, I know the next thing a lot of haters are talking about with this recruiting class, right? And I think they've addressed a few things, but again, watch how just college football is unfolding. Malik Murphy, quarterback from Texas, just transferred to Duke. Okay, Duke, who up until last year has never been known for a football school. Riley Leonard, he transferred outside of Duke, and now Duke just went and plugged in another big-time quarterback into an offense that was extremely explosive when Riley Leonard was healthy last year. My reason for bringing these things up is if other schools can function, Notre Dame being another one, what they do, they picked up Sam Hartman. Now they moved on to Riley Leonard, and Notre Dame had a pretty good season. I think they had potential to have a better season, but fell just short of that. But if these schools can go around and pluck quarterbacks and other players from the transfer portal and it's deemed as a success, why is it when Coach Prime does it at a greater level, it's failing? It's falling backwards. These are just questions I have for the haters, because I know a lot of people are, again, been hating on it, been rocking and rolling on it, but when you see other teams doing it, it makes sense. My point again, Shador Sanders, we know this is going to be his last year. My point is, I wouldn't panic. There's going to be a lot of great quarterbacks that are probably more likely going to be in the portal next year. And also, too, well, you can't find a great quarterback in the transfer portal. Joey Burrow and Jaden Daniels, both LSU quarterbacks, were transfer portal quarterbacks. So, and honestly, show us the door from Jackson State. But I digress. Some good stuff there. Again, hearing about Jordan Seaton and hearing about the culture of where the Buffs are headed in this offseason. Again, we're going to continue to monitor this offseason and see how this rolls going into this next week. I mentioned in the last video, I expect things to heat up as these bowl games are played, more people to enter into the portal. So we'll be keeping our eyes and tabs. Maybe we'll get another list of visits to kind of keep a track on. We had a fun time with that list. So let me know down in the comments how you're feeling about this offseason and this team headed into next season. Be sure to smash the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.